So I was all excited to bring you a fun and happy video today, but the 3.3 special broadcast threw us a little bit of an unexpected curveball today that we didn't see coming. So let's discuss this. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Hollywood here with another Wuthering Waves video. As we can see here, the 3.3 broadcast dropped earlier today. So with today's announcement, there was quite a few new additions added to the game, including a new main scenario quest, main story quest. There's a new area that will be included. We also have 6 resonators that we can be summoning for. There's Hayuki, there's Yuno, and there's Mornye. And then in the second half of the patch, we're going to get Denya and Chisa and Frolova. But beyond that, beyond those 6 resonators, they're not going to be dropping any additional convene banners for any of the older units. So I know myself personally, I've been saving my astrate for quite a while now. I have well over 200 convenes ready to go for the anniversary. And one of the resonators that I've really wanted to summon is Carlotta. I think Carlotta is an awesome character and I've been waiting for her for a while. However, because I personally started late in the 2.7 expansion, I've never seen a Carlotta banner. I know that there was a lot of people who did start the game later. Wuthering Waves got quite a bit of popularity during their 2.x expansions. So a lot of people joined the game at that point and have never seen a lot of these 1.x characters or a lot of the 2.x characters. The last time in the game that we saw a 1.x character other than Shorekeeper was in patch 2.2, which is over a year ago. So for a lot of newer players who started in the last year and since the first anniversary, none of us have seen any of these older characters, and a lot of us were waiting for this second anniversary to pull for these characters. So there was quite a bit of disappointment today on Twitter and Discord and social media. Now I know maybe part of the reason that they didn't include any mass resonator banners with 10 to 12 resonators on them is because that seemed to be something that was fairly unpopular last year. The biggest difference with that though is that when they did this last year, there wasn't a year between a lot of the time where we saw these units, and currently with the second anniversary here, it's going to be over a year before we've seen many of these units that were released last year. One of the biggest things that's a big head scratcher with this is that there's a lot of people that have been saving their astrites ready to pull for these resonators and holding on to them, and they're ready to go. They're ready to put down their resources and get a lot of these resonators, and we're not able to do that anymore. There was a lot of people that probably would have put down money to buy some of these astrites to pull for these resonators, and now they're not able to do that. So some of the people that may have been looking for characters like Jinsi or Changli or Jian or Brant or Rochia or Shorekeeper or Jeja or some of these other characters, they're not going to be able to pull for these characters now. And I find that a bit of a head scratching move. Like, why would they not want to give us the option? And I know for me personally, and maybe for a lot of other people that started the game later and people that aren't up to patch 3.2 yet, like personally I'm not up to patch 3.2. I'm currently sitting on patch 2.8. So I'm not there yet, and I probably could be, but there's a lot of people that are playing the game currently who are not at patch 3.2 and have just started the game, and a lot of these newer players have never seen a lot of these older characters and would like to pull for these characters. I know for me personally, a character like Carlotta, I just thought Carlotta had an amazing story. We have characters like Cartethia, who has a friggin' amazing story. I find it pretty disappointing and quite honestly discouraging that there's going to be a lot of new people starting the game, and maybe a lot of people coming back to this game because they hear Wuthering Waves is such an amazing game. They're going to be coming back in the anniversary event, and they're going to be seeing characters like Jinsi and Carlotta and Cartethia and Jian and Brant and some of these other characters that they think are amazing characters, and they're not going to be able to pull for these characters because they're not available. And we haven't seen a lot of these characters in a year. We haven't seen some of these characters. We haven't seen Carlotta since the last anniversary. So when are we going to be able to see these characters again? When are these new players going to be able to pull for these characters again? That is quite disheartening. And that also is counterintuitive because it's basically the devs saying, we're giving you these 2 or 3 characters and this is the way we want you to play. So for me personally, I don't pull for meta. I play with the characters I like to play with. Right now, my current team is Jinxie and Phoebe. Those are the 2 characters I like most. Those are the characters I play on my team. And when I'm out questing, those are the 2 characters I have on my roster. And they're not meta units. They're not units that are supposed to go together. Personally, I'm looking for another character for Jinxie, because there isn't a second character for Jinxie right now, a sub DPS, and a lot of these characters from 1.0 to 1.3 or 4 are getting completely abandoned. So when are we going to be able to pull for and use these characters? So one of the potential fixes for this, and it's an easy fix, and it's something that they could still implement between now and patch 3.3, would be to update the standard banner. If Kuro Games is not going to continue to support these 1.x characters, and if they're kind of going to completely abandon them, and players still want to use these 1.x characters, they should just add them to the standard banner. Because right now the standard banner only has 5 characters, and people are losing 50-50 to the same 5 characters. And that gets old fast. And there's a lot of people that have these 5 characters maxed out. They don't want these characters anymore. We want to see some new characters in the standard banner. Now, the other thing we could do is add a legacy banner. We could implement a new system called the legacy banner. And any of these older units that aren't being supported anymore or aren't being rerun anymore, we could add to the legacy banner. And we could run that legacy banner either side by side with the standard banner, or we could rotate that with the standard banner. Maybe if someone loses a 50-50, instead of just losing a 50-50 to the standard banner, there could be a 50-50 split between the standard banner and the legacy banner. And any of these older characters that aren't being rerun anymore, you could just add them to the legacy banner. And you could also add a legacy weapon banner. So someone like me who has Jinxie but doesn't have Jinxie's weapon, and I'd like to get Jinxie's weapon, and I was actually hoping to get Jinxie's weapon in this, I would be able to pull for that if they had a legacy weapon banner. So something like a legacy weapon banner would be something to implement in the game. I would be very excited for that. That would make people happy. Now, a lot of people I think were pretty disappointed with the news today that none of these older units are going to be run in the upcoming anniversary. And one of the reasons I think a lot of the community was really disappointed with that is because if they're not going to be released now, when are these units going to be released? People were waiting and saving their astrites to wait and summon and pull for these older units. It's got me questioning, and it's got a lot of other gamers probably questioning also. There's a lot of resonators we haven't seen in a year, and these players that have been saving up their resources and their astrite to get these characters are wondering now, if they're not going to be available in the second anniversary, when are these characters going to be available? Do I have to wait another year? Am I going to see these characters again? Should these characters get put on a standard banner? Should they be put on a legacy banner? Are they being discarded entirely? If they're being discarded entirely, that's pretty disappointing because a lot of these resonators are very cool. These older characters not only have very cool stories, but they also have voice actors and voice actresses coming in to breathe these characters to life, and people have gotten to love these characters and they want to play these characters and they want to have these characters on their roster. And it's a person's play style. Some people don't play for meta. Some people play because they like the character. They like the character's story. For me, I want to play a character like Carlotta because I like her story. I do have Cardathea because her story is amazing, and I'm glad I got Cardathea, but there's a lot of people that started later, they don't have Cardathea, and maybe they want to get Cardathea on their team. There's maybe people that want Jinxie that don't have Jinxie, and maybe they want Jinxie on their team. Maybe they want Zhezha because they have Jinxie, but they don't have Zhezha, and they want Zhezha on that team. So we want to see some of these characters back. So in closing here, and to Kuro Games, I just want to say that there's still time. You still have a few weeks to implement a banner for more resonators. You still have time to make changes to make some of these anniversary awards a little better. Yes, it's true that there's extra content being added to the game. There's extra quests added to the game. There's extra areas added to the game. There's some interesting motorbike skins. But for even me, I haven't even been able to make use of the motorbike because I'm not in that area yet. I'm still going through patch 2.8. I've never been able to use that motorcycle yet because it's not available in that area. So for the players that have just started, the players that are coming back to your game that want to try this game for the first time, let them try and summon for these older resonators. They're going to be seeing their stories for the first time. They're going to be excited about those characters. They're going to want to have those characters on the roster. Let those players summon for those characters. Let them get them on the roster. Let them go and buy their skins so they can do extra things with their characters. And ultimately, why would you not want to do this? Why wouldn't you want to keep your players happy? Why wouldn't you want to let them buy extra skins for their characters? Why wouldn't you want to let them pull for those characters and use those extra skins for their characters? If I have extra astrites sitting around, I want to use those astrites to pull for characters I don't have and that I want. I want a character like Carlotta, and I've been waiting for Carlotta for a long time. I'm not going to be able to get her in the anniversary if things don't get changed, but I hope they do. So Kuro, look at this video, look at other people's video, look at the feedback, and let's have a happy anniversary. So for anyone who stopped by the video today who's new to this channel, leave your comments in the comments section below. What was your response today and your reaction to this anniversary 3.3 preview broadcast? And until next time, wishing everyone a fun and happy weekend. Take care, everyone.